Hello, Toy and GIJoe fans. I'm back with another kind of review. Here's the thing. This guy has been reviewed by so many other really good reviewers at this point that I really don't care to do a review, but I do want to kind of do a shout out for this because I was able to pick this up on Amazon. It was a used copy, but I got it for around 20 bucks. And I got to tell you, I've already taken it out, played with it, and this thing, in my opinion, is awesome. If you like Croc Master and you like the reptile training aspect of Cobra and kind of the silliness that derives from that area of Cobra, then this really is a plus. I can't imagine not having this in your collection just because it's really cool. And honestly, now that pre-orders for Indiana Jones is coming out, especially the Temple of Doom indie, now that I have Fiona here, this nice crocodile, it kind of makes sense. It'd be cool to kind of get the Temple Indiana Jones and get to pose him up with the crocodile and do some action scenes there. So we're going to kind of do a twofold thing here. We're going to look at this real quick, and then I'm thinking we need to set this up in some sort of like still life, and I'd like to show you how I do those still lives. So let's take a look at Croc Master and Fiona.
Yo, Joe!
Alright, so getting into, of course, the Croc Master and Fiona box. This was one of our window boxes. Hasbro has taken a time when they've had windowless boxes. I have a few things that are windowless that I haven't actually reviewed. I know the Cobra Viper, the Blue Viper 2-packs. Those were done in a windowless box, but again, I haven't really looked at them. This one comes in windows. And what I did love about the windows, and the thing that I'm glad that Hasbro is trying to go back to the windows, is because you get to see everything in there. The windowless box kind of takes some of that allure and want away. So for, collectors who want to display within box, you have this availability. When you have a windowless box, it's kind of hard to do. Now, we do get that windowed box. We get the GIJoe Classified Series, Croc Master and Fiona here at the bottom. We know it's made by Hasbro. We get to see the Cobra emblem in the back, all the accessories and the accoutrement out. Of course, you got this nice drawing of Croc Master and Fiona here, and I love this. I'd love to have seen a bigger panel of this because it's really nice. On the side, you get, of course, that repeat of artwork, but it's not complete because of the cut of the window. On the back, and this is an old product, so this is kind of the older GIJoe classified sort of thing that they had. Got Baroness from the Coil Cycle. Of course, you got Zartan here. We got Croc Master added. This was the old Firefly. We got the Cobra Vipers. Of course, the old school. Well, not the old school, but this is like the more modern Major Blood and Cobra Commander. And these all are kind of a part of the classified series when they were going the direction of kind of modernizing the look of them and modernizing how they were going to look. One thing to note, right here on Beachhead, something I noticed for his main rifle, and I was looking it up on a review and actually on I think it was the His Tank archive, and even tried to find on GIJoe. That rifle is actually a Nerf rifle that was part of the Vortex line that they just kind of repurposed to make it like a futuristic gun. So there's a part of me that's kind of glad that they're not doing the more modern take on these, but at the same time, to get a Nerf blaster for Beachhead, that's kind of funny. All right, so that's pretty much Croc Master in the package. You got stats on the side that talk about, training, his security, melee weapons, things like that. But there's nothing else we're going to learn from this package. We need to get this one out and get to plan. Now, of course, out of package, and we're looking at an overhead shot here to see everything that comes with Croc Master and Fiona. Now, before we get too far into the figure, and of course the bonus, which is the animal here, let's take a look at the other accessories that he comes with. Now, he does come with this really cool combat knife, and it's hard to see, but there's actually a almost crocodile or scaled leather wrapping on the handle. And this is a 2 color, so it's made in the silver plastic with the green actually painted on. And that actually fits right here within his boot cut. Now there's a certain way that it goes. I think it goes back this way. And the weapon's a little gummy, so it does bend a little bit, but for the most part, fits very nice. You also have this major, crazy looking revolver handgun. I love this thing. This thing is a giant blaster. Reminds me a lot of, I think it was like one of the Nerf ones, or trying to remember the ones that shot the black darts. I've got one that's taken apart that I was wanting to paint in kind of like Cobra Viper colors. But this reminds me a lot of that. It's big, it's oversized, it's what you think of as a hand cannon. Now, it is done in that black plastic, though you do have just the leather wrapping along the bottom here, but no paint app for the leather wrap. And that, of course, fits in his holster, which is super nice. Another accessory you get, but they don't really talk about, you do have this scuba tank that actually pops off. You can pop it out of the respirator here, and you can take it off if you don't want to have that on. Much like the was it 30th anniversary 3 3/4 inch Croc Master, which I did get. I absolutely love that one. Kind of the same thing. You got the scuba tank on the back. Now he also comes with this really cool whip, and it's kind of a pliable whip. Has a little bit of give to it. It's done in this black plastic with the green sort of scale hide for the handle here, which is nice. You have this trainer hook, and I dig the fact that we get this trainer hook. It's a big hunkin' hook, and it's done in that silver plastic. And a little gummy. You're not going to worry about hurting yourself. You also have this collar here, which is a chained collar here for Fiona. And they didn't hollow out the inside, which is okay. It's still, for the most part, looks... I've done a few pictures where facing this way, it looks kind of weird. If you can face it from the side, that'd probably be the best. That's something that we're going to keep in mind whenever we're posing them. You do have all done in the silver with the spikes. It is a two-part, but glued into place. And then you've got that kind of brownish green leather strapping here along the outside. And it's pliable enough to fit around her neck. Now, she also comes with 2 baby alligators, one of which is a tiny little albino. It's got the red eyes, little pink nose. It's pretty cool. And they're non-posable. You know, they're already done. They've got a little bit of give, but they are just little tiny alligators, or crocodiles, I should say. Of course, there's another one right there, little one sitting up a little bit. Now, let's take a look at the main 2 here. Let's go ahead and look at Croc Master first. Now, Croc Master has all the normal signs of the G.I.Joe classified articulation. Got that waist crunch. It's got a little bit in the waist here. You've got the barbell styled head that's like the double barbell into the neck. Though the neck doesn't have too much give in it, but there's a good range. You've got those butterfly joints up here, but they don't give too much. You got the ball hinge here, the hinge here, and then the double hinge on the elbows. Keep in mind, these are pinned because they're the older ones. You do have on this hand, the hand actually swivels in, swivels. Good range on the hips, and actually you got those drop down hips, so there you go. You can kind of cock its legs however you need. You got the swivel in the thighs, double hinge knees, the actual swivel on the boots, the hinge on the ankles, and then the actual foot cut as well to allow that. Now, on this hand, it also has the rocker going on the inside instead of having the pistol rocker. I kind of like that for this guy just because he's bulky, so I'd imagine him pulling gators more towards himself and not, aiming up or using a rifle in this case. Like, looking at his file card, he wouldn't do that. The paint app on this thing is impressive. You've got the two-tone greens here along the vest. You've got the nice scale work along the back. The detail here for the belt where it comes and locks into place almost like a wrestler belt. I dig it. Because, keep in mind, he's a wrestler, basically. He wrestles alligators. Got the knee pads here. All in all, solid action figure. I love it. And the red on his eyes. It's slightly gloss, slightly metallic. It gives him a bit of an evil sheen to it. I'm digging him. I really like that figure. Now, Fiona here. Also has a huge boatload of articulation. We get a ball jointing in the tail, and you can actually take this off and look. There's the huge ball joint there. You can kind of swivel that around. There is a bit of a wire in the back of the tail that allows for the tail to move. You've got ball joints for the back, along with the swivel, along with rocker joints for the feet. So if you want to put her in swimming pose, she's gonna go get her kill. Woo! She could. And then of course you've got this whole torso rock up here. You've got the swivel. It's actually kind of a hinge swivel up here, ball hinge. Same with the ball hinge for the wrist. Now these don't move quite. There's some articulation issues with this. I don't know if it's necessarily mine, but I know on this hand it doesn't move quite as much. And there's not like a lot of movement because there are some hindrances with the way she's built. Lastly, she does have that opening jaw. And it's beautiful. They've got the, much like what Mattel was doing with Jurassic Park, they've got the sinew that kind of goes down into the mouth and doubles on each side, so it seamlessly goes away to create that stretching effect. Really solid crocodile. And I could see this being used, of course, with Indiana Jones. Let's pose them up. Let's see what we can come up with. So the first thing I'd want to do is kind of come in here and put Fiona's harness around her head. And that just kind of fits over her head. And you can open her head up a little bit, right? Like that. And that takes care of that. And I figured, you know what? Let's pose this tail back. I have kind of an idea of how I want her posed. Now, I'm going to say that this leg back here, if we can, we might push that out, push this one down like she's being pulled, right? I'll pull that up, and this arm I'll just pull out. So that way we can get her down like this, like she's being pulled. Okay, yeah, I like that. Now we'll put, let's put that baby crocodile in our mouth like that. And let's pose him up. Now, I want all the accessories to be in there, but I know he's not going to be able to hold everything. So let's take his whip and we'll put it around his body like this, like he wears it on him. And then we'll just plug his scuba tank back on like that. Now, we want to get him in some wrestling pose. So we'll get him down like this. We'll pull his arm up like this. So he's like wrestling a gator, right? Now, one thing I did notice about, of course, most of the figures, they have harder hands than they do their accessories. So accessories become a bit of a problem to put in their hands. I'm more afraid of years down the road, a lot of these hands breaking, like the old vintage Real American Hero thumbs breaking off half the time, because of the fact that they were made of a harder plastic. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so we'll put this hook in his hand over here. We'll keep some of these metal features together. He's got that metal clasp on his left hand, or no, that's his right hand, I should say. His right hand over here, because that's the one where he's going to be hooking that gator right in the mouth. And he's pulling her back. He's training at this point. Got his gun showing. We want to make sure those stark eyes are showing up like this. He's got that pull. We'll pull his hand down like he's actually having to pull back like that. And we'll put that in there. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then of course we'll get the little gator in here, and we'll put the other gator maybe up around here so we can see it. Now, I think that works as a pose, but let's figure out what we're going to do for a final picture. Let's make a picture that's worthy of Crocmaster. So going in, I actually want to set up some sort of background. I have this national park calendar that I'd gotten. Honestly, I wish I'd have kept the cardboard inside it and made it easier to stand up. But you just kind of put it in the back and use that photography as kind of a backdrop in order to get it to show up behind the figure. Now, going into it, I was going to go ahead and set the camera, so I knew exactly what I was wanting to look at. So I kind of knew where my positioning was. Now, I've got these LED lights that I picked up on Amazon. They're actually pretty decent. They come with these filters that clip in. So on one light I decided to kind of drop in some fill of some kind of greenish yellow, the other one a little bit of yellow. Now, on top of that, I noticed that the picture has a lot of sunlight coming in from the back. So I also picked up these backlights from Five Below that are like sunlight or like sunset lights. So I put that behind to kind of get to go. Now, I wanted to put something underneath to kind of feel like water or like grass, but I couldn't find the right color. So I ended up using some lime green paper that I just laid out. And as I'm putting down some plastic plants I got, and I'm just kind of checking it out, making sure it works, I noticed that the green paper seemed just a little too flat. So I actually ended up going and moving everything off and getting a little bit of saran wrap. And that saran wrap I laid out, kind of crunched up just a little bit to break up that ground and then put all the plants back in there. I think the more that you crunch down the saran wrap and the more that it kind of balls up and whitens at areas, the more it looks like water. And it's definitely something I'm thinking about trying again with another figure down the road. After I take my pick, and I'll take multiple picks just to make sure I have everything I need, this is what you end up with. And I happen to like this picture a lot. I thought it was actually quite beautiful in my opinion. So that's how you do it. All in all, an awesome figure. I absolutely like this figure. I love it. I would definitely suggest it. Even if you get it at $30 mark, I think it's well worth it. All right, my friends, take care. God bless, and happy toy hunting. When I'm not recording videos here on YouTube, I'm actually over on a podcast on marvindogmedia.com called Talking Toys with Taylor and Jeff. It's a really cool toy podcast. Be sure to check it out. Also, I need your help getting my YouTube channel to grow. Be sure to subscribe down below with that big red button. Hit that bell for notifications so you can be alerted of anything that comes from me to you. Like this video, it helps YouTube know that you like what I'm making, and comment down below. I like chatting with you all.